You have been in multiple relationships, and they have all ended the same way. Things start great. You are excited. You are present. You are investing. And then somewhere along the way, everything falls apart. And every time, you tell yourself the same story. That person was not right for you. That person did not understand you. That person was toxic. That person was not willing to work on things. But here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to hear. You are the problem. You are the common denominator in every failed relationship. And until you understand that, you will keep repeating the same pattern over and over with different people. The first reason you are always the problem is that you do not actually know how to communicate. You think you do. You think you are good at talking about things. You think you can articulate your needs and your feelings. But what you actually do is attack and defend. You do not communicate. You weaponize. Here is what communication looks like in your relationships. Something bothers you, and instead of telling your partner what the actual issue is, you bring up everything they have ever done wrong. You attack their character. You make it about who they are as a person instead of what they did. You say things like, "You always do this," or "You never listen to me," or "Nobody could be in a relationship with you without going crazy." And your partner shuts down because they are not actually being heard. They are being attacked. You have turned a conversation about a specific behavior into an indictment of their entire person. And now they are defensive. Now they are thinking about how to protect themselves instead of how to understand you. Real communication is not this. Real communication is you saying, "When you do this specific thing, it makes me feel this specific way." And then you listen to their response. You do not attack. You do not bring up the past. You do not make it about character. You make it about behavior and impact. You do not do this. You communicate like someone who is trying to win an argument instead of someone who is trying to be understood. And that is why every conversation in your relationships becomes a fight. Here is the part nobody tells you. If every conversation becomes a fight, it is not because you are dating the wrong people. It is because you do not know how to talk to another human being without attacking them. And that is a skill you can learn, but you have not. So you keep having the same fights with different people. The second reason you are always the problem is that you have an addiction to being right. More than you want your relationship to work, you want to be right. More than you want your partner to feel heard, you want to win the argument. More than you want to understand their perspective, you want to prove that your perspective is correct. This shows up as constantly correcting them, as nitpicking everything they do, as pointing out their mistakes, as keeping score of who was right about what, as refusing to admit when you are wrong because admitting you are wrong feels like losing. And your partner feels this. They feel like they are constantly being judged, like nothing they do is good enough, like they can never win with you. Because they cannot. That is not the point. The point is to beat them. The point is to be right, and they have figured that out. So they stop trying. They stop engaging. They stop caring about winning your approval because they know it is impossible. They have learned that you are not actually interested in their perspective. You are interested in proving your perspective is correct. And that is a relationship where nothing real can happen. The third reason you are always the problem is that you have never learned to sit with uncomfortable emotions. When your partner does something that hurts you or disappoints you or makes you angry, instead of feeling that feeling and processing it, you immediately react. You lash out. You punish them. You create conflict so you do not have to sit in the discomfort of what they did. This is a pattern that repeats constantly. They forget your birthday. And instead of saying "that hurts me and I need you to do better," you go cold on them for days. You punish them. You make them feel guilty. You create an atmosphere where they are walking on eggshells, trying to earn back your approval. Or they mention they are attracted to someone else, and instead of addressing that conversation like two adults, you freak out. You accuse them of cheating in their mind. You turn it into proof that they do not love you. You make it about how terrible they are, instead of about what that comment means for your relationship. Here is what is actually happening. You are avoiding your own pain by creating conflict. You are not dealing with the fact that someone hurt you. You are not sitting with the sadness or the fear or the disappointment. You are just attacking them so you do not have to feel those things. And your partner learns that honesty is dangerous around you. They learn that telling you the truth will result in punishment. So they stop being honest. They start hiding things. They start lying to keep the peace. And the relationship becomes built on deception instead of intimacy. The fourth reason you are always the problem is that you do not actually take responsibility for anything. When something goes wrong, it is their fault. When the relationship is struggling, it is their fault. When you hurt them, it is because they made you do it. When you disappoint them, it is because they had unrealistic expectations. You have constructed a narrative where you are never actually responsible for anything. You are always the victim. You are always the one being wronged. You are always the one doing your best, while they are not appreciating you or understanding you or trying hard enough. And your partner feels the exhaustion of this. They feel the weight of always being blamed. They feel the impossibility of ever making things right, because in your mind, they are always wrong. You are always innocent. You are always doing your best. And they are always falling short. Real relationships require both people to take responsibility for their part, for how they contributed to the problem, for what they could have done differently, for where they messed up. You have never done this. You have never sat with the reality that you caused harm, that you made a mistake, that you were wrong. Here is the part nobody tells you. Taking responsibility is the foundation of change. If you never acknowledge that you are the problem, you can never actually fix it. You will just keep doing the same thing and blaming different people for why it did not work out. The fifth reason you are always the problem is that you have never actually invested in understanding your partner. You do not know what makes them feel loved. You do not know what their real fears are. You do not know what they actually need from you. You just expect them to know what you need from them, and then you get mad when they do not provide it. You ask them how they are doing, but you do not actually listen to the answer. You are too busy thinking about yourself. You talk about your problems, but you do not ask about theirs. You make decisions without consulting them. You do not consider their feelings or their preferences or their needs. You just assume that if they love you, they will be fine with whatever you do. This is profoundly selfish. And your partner feels it. They feel like they do not matter to you, like their needs are not important, like they are there to serve your emotional needs, not to be a partner. And after years of this, they stop trying to matter to you. They give up, they check out. And you are shocked. You think, how could they just leave after everything I did for them? But everything you did for them was for you. It was to feel like a good partner. It was to have the kind of relationship you wanted. It was never actually about what they needed. It was never actually about them. The sixth reason you are always the problem is that you have unrealistic expectations about what love is supposed to look like. You think love means someone is always there for you, always available, always focused on you, always putting you first, always making you feel good. And when your partner has their own life, when they need space, when they have bad days where they cannot be present for you, when they prioritize other people sometimes, when they make mistakes, when they are not always happy with you, you interpret all of this as proof that they do not actually love you. What you have created is an impossible standard. You have created a version of love that no human being can sustain. Because humans have their own lives. They have their own struggles. They have their own needs. They cannot be available 100% of the time. They cannot always be happy with you. They cannot always put you first. But in your mind, this means they do not love you. So, you leave. Or you stay, and you resent them. Or you stay and you punish them for not being the impossible thing you have created in your mind. And then you go to the next relationship and you do the exact same thing. You create impossible expectations. You attack when they do not meet them. You blame them for the relationship failing, and you never actually learn anything because you never acknowledge that you are the problem. Here is where most people get uncomfortable. This is not about being a bad person. This is about being someone who has never actually done the work of being in a healthy relationship. Someone who has never learned to communicate. Someone who has never learned to take responsibility. Someone who has never learned to truly see another person. And the thing is, you can learn these things. But you have to first acknowledge that you are the one who needs to change. Not your partner. Not the next person. You have to learn to communicate without attacking. You have to learn to care about understanding more than being right. You have to learn to sit with uncomfortable emotions instead of lashing out. You have to learn to take responsibility for your part. You have to learn to actually know your partner and what they need. You have to learn to have realistic expectations about what another human being can provide. You have to, in other words, grow up. You have to stop being the center of every relationship. You have to stop making everything about yourself. You have to stop expecting people to read your mind. You have to stop attacking when you are hurt. You have to stop blaming everyone else. And most people do not do this. Most people keep repeating the same pattern. Most people keep ending relationships and telling themselves it was the other person. Most people keep wondering why they keep ending up alone. But you know now, you know that you are the problem. The question is whether you are actually going to do something about it, because real change requires more than just understanding. It requires actually behaving differently. It requires apologizing for things you have done. It requires listening when you want to talk. It requires admitting you are wrong when you are wrong. It requires being genuinely interested in another person instead of just how they can meet your needs. It requires you to be a different person, not a better person. A different person. Someone who sees other people as fully human instead of as characters in the story of your life. If you are not willing to do that, then do not get into another relationship. Do not waste another person's time. Do not put another human being through the cycle of hoping things will change and then realizing they never will because you never actually change. But if you are willing to do that, if you are actually willing to look at yourself and see what you have been doing and change it, then there is hope. Then you might actually have a real relationship someday. One that is not about being right. One that is not about control. One that is not about your needs being met at the expense of someone else's. But that person has to be willing to see themselves first. And most people are not.